My name is Stephen Hewitt, and I'm the lead creative designer on one of the games that Realtime Worlds are working on. I'm in charge of the creative aspects of the game. One part of it is to do with the sort of social interaction. The other part of my role is to do with the sort of written content and material in the game. I've worked on quite a lot of different areas, not just games. I've worked in other types of media, so that's multimedia. I've also done other things like drawing comics, done a lot of art-based stuff. I've also done quite a bit of writing. So this really kind of like a grab bag of different areas that I've worked in that's kind of led to where I am now. I mean, I didn't have a particularly good time at school. I was quite bullied, I suppose, at school. So I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and I wasn't particularly outgoing. The people I was surrounded with were kind of naturally, a little bit aggressive. And also I was quite quiet, so I was, and I suppose quite intelligent. So it was that sort of thing where if you stand out a little bit, and I suppose just socially I wasn't very well adjusted at the time. I actually pretty much dealt with it myself, although that was really down to me because I didn't really let on to anybody. And I think there's one of the things I learned about it was you really need to sit there and talk, speak up and spread, sort of talk to as many people as possible about it. I had remedial English, which is an interesting thing. So literally, I mean, I could hardly communicate in a written form with other people. So I had special schooling to help me to write. And now, ironically, my job is all about writing. So that was something I was quite pleased about, that I'd actually managed to move myself from being incapable of communicating in that form to something where I could actually, communicate well and actually get a job in it. When I was at school, I wasn't very sure exactly what it was I wanted to do, and so I took quite a while trying to work out what my career path was. I was never somebody that had a very definite idea of what I wanted to do, but I was interested in lots and lots of different things. I was quite interested in diving and biology, actually, so the closest I came was wanting to be a marine biologist, and then when it came to fill in my forms to go to university, just at the closing stages of school, I actually filled in computer science instead. It really was a kind of an impulsive, looked at the form, had it for a couple of weeks, and then went, I'll do computers. When I did that degree, I kind of found out that I wasn't really into very hardcore computing, but I did like aspects of doing that. When I was at school, I was very into art, and so what I wanted to do was find something that combined computers and art. After I came out of university, multimedia was kind of a new buzzword. When I heard what multimedia was, I thought, that sounds perfect. It's the type of thing I'm interested in. It does both computers and art. But there are certain jobs where having a breadth of experience rather than necessarily a depth in a particular area is actually an advantage. So being a games designer, knowing a lot about a lot of different subjects, not necessarily to a great depth, although that is important. You can't be just, it can't be paper thin. It has to be, you have to have a certain amount of knowledge. Then that's very, very useful. Part of my development of my career has been at various stages I've actually tried to change direction. So initially, for instance, I'd studied computer science and artificial intelligence. That's very hardcore programming. But then I wanted to try and get into more of the art side of multimedia. So I volunteered working with other companies, which is not necessarily something I'd fully recommend. So, literally working for no pay for a while. But the reason I did it was to gain the right experience to allow me to move into the areas that I wanted to move into. There was a bit of natural pressure not to follow the art sort of side of things, but to follow the maths and the science side of things, because people can understand those types, that is more likely to lead to a job. I would say that ironically, what I've found is that I've actually had a lot of employment doing artistic things. So what I would say with something like that is that it's really important to follow what you have a passion for, and because these days you can really make a job out of just about anything.